So this is the syllabus which we have for jurisprudence. So we will start with Unit 1. Now, concept of jurisprudence. So have you studied anything on jurisprudence? What this subject is all about maybe?
Jurisprudence is study of law, concepts, laws by jurists from all over the world. The origin, sources of law interpreted by the jurists mostly.
Yes. So this is nothing but like a theoretical subject, more on theoretical part where we don't see like punishment, this is a crime or something. It explains different concepts, like the views given by different jurists. That's how it tries to explain different concepts. Like we don't see punishments here, but we get theories of punishment. What is the reason of giving a certain type of punishment? Like that, we see different types of theories. Similarly, there are rights and obligations. What are the rights? If I am having a right, who will have a duty? What kind of a duty? All those theoretical concepts we get in jurisprudence. Now, when we talk about the first unit, it is having like meaning and nature of jurisprudence, purpose and value, schools of jurisprudence. Now, schools of jurisprudence is very important from this unit again. And school of jurisprudence is something that you keep getting here and there. There is another subject also. It's not there for 3 years LLB, but it's there in 5 years LLB, legal methods, or there is something called as many subjects you would get in LLM also. There are some subjects. So all these subjects are related to these schools of jurisprudence only. Okay, so we will see what jurisprudence is all about firstly, and then the different schools of jurisprudence. So what do you think are these schools? Schools of jurisprudence?
Schools.
Like you said, jurisprudence, we get different concepts from the point of view of jurists, right? So what is the point of view of a certain jurist? Might be there is a jurist with whom his next generation 2-3 jurists are also agreeing, right? And then someone gave another like completely different viewpoint. There are a few more people who joined with him also. Then another concept came. Like that, there may be like groups of people who believed on one kind of a theory. Right, so those group of people believing on one kind of a theory, we call it as school of jurisprudence. Right, so we have different schools. Schools are nothing but a certain viewpoint, and it's not just one jurist, but there may be a group of jurists who believed on the same thing. Here and there slight differences might be there, but otherwise they agreed on the same thing. Okay, that's how we have all these different theories like natural law, imperative theory, legal realism, historical school, sociological school. So what are these theories basically? Take for example, natural law. They believe that law has originated from nature. It just came into existence like that. No human effort, no like knowingly we have not tried to make or frame a law, but it just came all by itself. So there are quite a few jurists who believed on the same thing. Right, so there may be other concepts, positive law, that no, it's not just like that law came, it's because of constant human effort, like how we have parliament or state legislature nowadays. Just like that, laws were made, it was made binding, that's how we started following it. So like that, we have different philosophies wherein group of jurists agreed on a certain concept, and that is nothing but school of jurisprudence. Okay, so we have different schools, and they mainly tell us what is law, how law has originated, and what is its purpose. These are the main things that we get there. Along with that, like I told, in one school of jurisprudence, there may be 5-6 different jurists who believed on the same concept, right? So we need to know who are the jurists who supported natural law. How did they support? Did they write any book, anything? What was their main idea or main concept, right? Like that, we need to understand it. For that, I have prepared a table, also detailed table for all these different schools. we will discuss that in that way. So once you know that, okay, these are the different schools, this is the different jurists who are involved there, you get a clear idea on these different schools. Okay, so when we talk about schools, this is what it mainly is. Definitely you would get one question from schools plus one from this theoretical part, maybe like define jurisprudence, what is the meaning of jurisprudence, nature, values, purpose, like that you may expect. Second unit that we have is functions and purpose of law. We understood how law has originated. We understood why we should be studying law. But now what is the purpose of law, right? What is the purpose of law? That also we should be understanding. Is based on these different theories or based on these different schools, law serves different purposes, right? So what is the purpose and function of law that we need to see? Then questions of fact, questions of law and discretion. When a case is filed before the court, there will be certain questions that court will frame and court will try to decide on these questions. Like in CRPC, we have seen framing of issues, charges. Do you remember that charges will be framed?
Yes.
Based on what section person is accused of committing a crime and all that, right? So once charges are framed, court will have to decide whether this person is guilty of murder or this person guilty of culpable homicide. Is the court having jurisdiction to try the matter? Is this person committing the crime because of unsoundness of mind, right? All these are nothing but questions that need to be decided by court. There again, different types of questions court would decide, where we may have question of law, as in whether it's a murder, whether it's a culpable homicide, right? It might be a question of fact, whether the person is mentally sound or not. It may be discretion, it may be a combined question of law and fact also. Like that, we have these concepts from unit 2. Okay, again, we have justice also, like different kinds of justice, different types that we are having there. Then civil and criminal administration of justice, how administration of justice is done in civil and criminal division. Then we have theories of punishment and secondary functions of law. What is the main idea for giving punishment or imposing punishment? With what objective punishments are imposed? That is nothing but theories of punishment. And secondary functions of the court. Yes, primary function, we know what court does, right? Cases will be filed and court will try to decide those cases. But it's not just that what court is performing, but there are a lot many different things that court is performing these days. So what are some of the secondary functions, which are not like the main function, like providing justice, but these are again very important for the society. So what are the secondary functions of the court? From here again, theories of punishment is very important. Then again, justice is important, and from these again you can expect, but theories of punishment is quite an important topic from unit 2 again. Okay, and unit 3 is a very small topic, sources of law. What is the source from where law has originated? We understood that based on different schools of law, there are different concepts or there are different viewpoints that, okay, law originated just like that from nature. Then no, law is not like that. Men made some effort, after that law came, right? So like that, fine, law originated, but what is the source of that law? Even if it came from nature, what is the source? From where they got the idea that we need something like this, right? There we have all these different sources. Now, sources of law is a very common topic that you get in other subjects also, like Hindu law, Muslim law. You will get sources of law, but these sources may differ from one another. Like, what are the sources of Hindu law? Everything would not be similar with Muslim law, right? Hindu law, we have Shrutis, Smritis and all that. Muslim law, we would have the Quran. Christian law, we would have the Bible. Like that, we have different sources. But something which is common in case of every law is these 3 sources. So these are considered like primary sources of law, which are very common for any kind of law you talk about. Okay, legislation, precedent, and custom. Legislation is nothing but the legislation, the acts that we are having. We get an idea that, okay, maybe this legislation is not working fine. We need to replace it with a new legislation. That's how it may act as a source. Precedent is nothing but what court has previously decided. We are just following that. Custom is nothing but what is being followed. Previously, when law was not there, as a custom, what did people follow? And we try to accept that only if it is at all possible. Right? So custom is also a source of, like if you see,
can say time immemorial. Like
sorry?
Time immemorial.
Since time immemorial, yes, something which is followed since time immemorial. Like in case, if in India, just assume we don't have any law to impose it as an obligation that who is going to take care of elderly people. Okay, and government wants to introduce a law for that. Now, what point they would look is might be on whom can we impose this obligation of maintaining or taking care of elderly persons. There they might see that who is otherwise doing it. Otherwise, it's the children who is doing it. So might be with that from custom we are taking reference that as a custom children are taking care of their elderly parents. So now impose it as an obligation. You don't have a choice, but you need to do it. It's your legal obligation. Like that, many a time custom helps to frame a law, right? Where we don't have a law already existing. So what is it that people are following? From that also reference may be taken. And even we see many legislations where it would be mentioned that whatever is the customary practice applicable, that would remain as it is. As in, if there is some customary practice applicable, law is not touching that. Law has allowed that customary practice to remain as it is. Like that also many a times it happens. Okay, so again here there are just 3 topics. So we need to understand all these 3 different sources. From there we can expect questions. Then we have legal concepts. All these different concepts, rights, duties, possession, ownership, personality, all these are nothing but different concepts that we get while studying different legislations, right? So what are these concepts all about, how jurist has defined them, and what are its kinds, types, meanings, differences, etc. That is something which we have from here. Like if we talk about nature of personality, otherwise when we say person or personality, we refer mostly to living human beings like you or me. But in case of law, even artificial persons or juristic persons are also given the status of personality, like juristic person. For the purpose of convenience, that cases can be filed, they can defend the case, they can enjoy so many different rights. So that is also something which becomes important. Here again, we need to know the kinds, differences, definitions also we can expect from this particular unit. And the last one that we have is liability. Conditions for imposing liability: wrongful act, damnum sine injuria, possession, mens rea, intention, malice, negligence, recklessness, strict liability, vicarious liability, obligation. These are again different concepts that we get in law of torts, IPC.
Yeah.
We anyway.
Unit 2, first semester we studied.
Yes, first semester you studied, right? Law of torts, IPC as well, first semester only.
IPC, yeah.
And lastly, we have substantive and procedural law. We understood what law is, how law originated, what are its sources, different concepts, etc. And now the 2 major classifications that we have, substantive and procedural law. So this is what Unit 5 is all about. Hey, before we continue, I wanted to inform you about my live mentorship program for LLB students or law aspirants. Law subjects and law topics need detailed clarity. We get that with the help of cases, examples, and detailed explanation. It's definitely not possible to include everything in these short videos. If you find my videos easy to understand and you are looking for some professional help in preparing for your examination, you can join my live mentorship program. Here you will be getting exam tips, answer writing skills, detailed notes that you can refer for your examination, cases, examples, and in a very easy way topics will be explained. I have live classes going on for a lot of subjects as of now. To know more about it, you can drop me a message on this WhatsApp number. I'm also helping a lot of students in writing their assignments. If you need any such help or for any queries, any suggestions, you can drop me a message on this WhatsApp number. And now let's continue with our video.